prepared by the chamber, and I think you all have been briefed on them or aware of them. So we will begin. I'll actually start with Dr. Arthur Moore. What is your specific experience in participating with or serving alongside our local government today?
And so the answer is actually very simple. It's minimal. I kind of see myself as someone who's a lot like most of the people in Farragut and everywhere else in the county and the country. Don't get very involved in local politics, and I think that that's a shame. I think that this is something that's getting involved in this, learning about the issues is something that our community should be more engaged with. We should find a way to reach out to those like myself who prior to this weren't as engaged. I actually think my wife has always been the better one, and her voting record would support that as well. I will tell you that my background as far as bureaucracy and in dealing with large organizations like this, I've been mostly involved in my work in the hospital. And so I run the stroke program at Fort Sanders. I just handed that off to a partner of mine. I've started a telemedicine program there. And so one of the things that I always pride myself in is identifying problems and working with administration to find solutions to those problems, even if they may not be obvious.
Have you seen any problems from just being a candidate, not even being directly involved? Any problems with the local government?
You know, I think that the biggest thing that I've identified is a lack of communication and a lack of trying to figure out the details of what's going on at a county level. And this is nothing against our current commissioners, it's nothing against our prior commissioners, but when we're reading up on the issues, what I see is very much a superficial view of what really will affect our lives for years to come. So looking at things like advanced Knox and going through some of the programs that we've been talking about, I'm able to find what I consider to be relatively superficial information on that. I would like to see that change. I would like to have more dialogue with constituents. I'd like our, we can't just assume our constituents will be engaged. We have to reach out and make them engaged. If we want to know what our constituents want, it means going out in the community, it means talking with them as much as possible in as many forums as possible as well.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Yes, we'll go in line.
Well,
Tony Scott, which current commission or school board member do you most admire or align with, and why?
I have great admiration for anyone actually who is willing to serve in this capacity. And it has been a great honor of mine to get to spend a lot of time meeting our current commissioners throughout this campaign process. I've gotten to meet with a handful, not quite everyone, and I have benefited tremendously from their generous time and their counsel, and so I'm grateful for that. And I think that I would enjoy an opportunity to work with all of them if I am blessed to get to work on that board. That being said, I would say that I agree with probably no one on everything and someone on something. And I think that that's actually a really valuable position to be in. So I think that each district has its own unique needs and desires. And so I think that a collaboration of what we bring to the table is the most beneficial.
Thank you, Tony Scott. Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
You'll be one of multiple members serving on commission. How will you make yourself part of that greater team, and what will you do to positively negotiate conflicts that arise while working through issues during your term of service?
Well, I would, anytime you're a part of a team or being the commission, you want to definitely build relationships within that organization and work together. Because at the end of the day, I think each commissioner or each elected official has Knox County's best interests in their heart. So we want to make Knox County the best place that you can live and work and raise a family. I would use the same approach that I do in business. I would be a good listener. I would work with integrity. I would use my communication skills to be the best possible public servant I can be. And with conflicts of the issues, I think that you would want to make sure that you're hearing both sides of the story and to see if you can find some kind of common ground to move forward. But as an elected official, you know, decisions have to be made. I think that's the hardest thing of politics, that when you make a decision, you know, your people don't like some of the decisions that are made, and they can, you know, be mad at you. But you just have to serve with honest and integrity.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Walker.
I should repeat the question, because I was thinking you were going on the next one, so I was ahead of you. You skipped over the one from Texas. I thought, what's the third question? I can't remember.
You'll be one of multiple members serving on the commission. How will you make yourself part of that greater team, and what will you do to positively negotiate conflicts that arise while working through issues during your term?
The biggest thing in any relationship, and we gotta look at the council and our commissioner as a relationship, is communication, you know, and a little bit of understanding as well. Taking in everybody's different viewpoints. We're not going to agree on everything, 100%. We're not going to agree on all the issues that come across the board, but at the same time, we need to look at what the sake of the people are. What's the best benefit for the most people we can look for, and how we can help them. And as long as we have that goal up there, that's all that really matters, because we can disagree about small things, but the larger thing, that's what we need to agree on. So communication, understanding, listening to others, understanding all sides, and I promise you I'm going to do my homework on every single issue that comes across, knowing a deep dive in every single, everything I can possibly read, talk to, before I make my decision. Go with an open mind, and at that point we can move forward to help our community.
Thank you. Ms. Morgan, what can be done to improve student achievement and ensure every student who graduates is ready for career or secondary education? We're talking college or technical training.
I think for improving student achievement, we have to focus on the basics. So we've got to get back to making sure that literacy is a focus. That's one of Dr. Reiswick's priorities, is making sure the foundational skills are in place. So early reading, early literacy rates, we've got to improve those. Math skills specifically, I know they're looking at middle school math as a target, and it is really important that we're teaching our kids phonics in the classroom. We've got to do that early and young for them, and we need every teacher on board, and we need everybody to buy in, from the parents to the teachers, to make sure that we're getting our kids where they are reading well before they even get to third grade. So that's really important. And then we all know that every student who can read is going to be successful in what they can do later on. Also, I am a big supporter of Dr. Reiswick's priorities, and one of those is career preparation and empowerment. And I know at Farragut High School, Dr. Bartlett has done a great job of making sure that students have exposure to things in their education and their time there at the high school. So whether that is working on vocational skills while they're there in high school and being prepared to go on to technical training afterwards, or being exposed to their interests in the healthcare field or whatever it may be, it's important that they have that exposure in their time as students in Knox County.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Same question, Ms. Whitaker.
Definitely children need to be taught to read earlier, and they need to learn how to infer things, because I think that's part of the problem with some of the standardized testing. It's not that they can't read, it's they can't infer as to what they're meaning in the questions. But yes, starting early, that includes parents. Hopefully they are very involved in their children's education. I remember early on working at UT, I talked with someone who said she was amazed at how few parents actually knew their children's teachers and got involved, and that bothers me. But you know, that's a personal decision within a family. But if you have the right support staff within a classroom, then you can help those kids who don't have the family support at home, learning to read and to be able to decipher things to make sure it makes sense to them. I also like the fact that Dr. Reiswick has 4 basic principles in the school, one of which is to make sure that kids are successful. And if you give a school the opportunity and the resources to be able to provide that for students, then they will be successful, whether that's going to college or a trade school. And the WIOA, which was passed several years ago, provides an opportunity for the kids in the schools to work with businesses, with training, and that's something that's really important, and gives the kids options as to where they want to go when they are out of school.
Thank you. Let's go to